Another British Grand Prix has come and gone, and Lewis Hamilton is back. He is back on the top step of the podium. He wins the British Grand Prix in typical British weather. Dry, wet, dry, wet. So, if you're excited for this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's talk about the British Grand Prix. Let's go back to qualifying, just touch up on qualifying a little bit. As you can see, George Russell took the pole in the Mercedes. Second pole of the year for him after Canada. Lewis Hamilton was second, making it a Mercedes front row lockout, and Lando Norris in third, making it an all-British 1-2-3, which was the first time that happened since the 60s, so it's been a long time since that happened, so I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Verstappen was fourth in the end. In the Red Bull, Nico Hulkenberg doing, again, incredible things in the Haas. Albon in the top 10 as well in the Williams, but Aston Martin in the top 10 as well, doing something. Charles Leclerc, and Q2 again, really on a bad run is Leclerc. Sergio Perez doing Perez things, spinning off again. I think it's 2 years in a row he's in Britain. And, well, for Britain, this season is just an absolute... He's going to finish 8th in the championship, just saying that now. And then Alpine, well, Ocon and Alpine just passing heads as always, and Gasly was starting last in the race and didn't even bother. That was qualifying. And in terms of the race, as you can see, obviously Lewis Hamilton winning the race. Obviously, he started off, dry race, everyone pretty standard start. You know, the first 15 laps, it was just typical first 15 laps, just follow the leader, Russell, about 2 seconds ahead of Hamilton. It was about second half ahead of Hamilton, it was about 2 seconds ahead of Verstappen. It was about a second ahead of Norris, and then a second ahead of Piastri. Like, it was just your standard race. Norris eventually got past Verstappen because Verstappen had no pace at all. Pierre Gasly didn't even start the race with some sort of gearbox problem, so not good for him. A weekend to forget. Might as well not even bother to turn up, to be honest, for Gasly. Didn't do FP1. But then, while redo qualifying, didn't do the race. It was just a waste of time for Gasly. Rather than not starting the race. And then the rain started to come. You know, some drivers started to pit, and the rest of the guys at the back, Leclerc, Perez, Leclerc, Perez, Ocon, Joe, pit sprinters, was the wrong call. And with how slow this pit lane is, it's basically half a lap to do a pit stop around here, so their races were ruined. And eventually dried up again. Everyone who took the lead went off the track. Ended up being Norris was ahead of Hamilton, then Russell, then Piastri and Verstappen, and then Sainz. And then it started to rain again. Kind of stayed. Piastri ended up staying out 1 lap longer, dropped back to 6th. His race was ruined. Verstappen managed to jump Russell as well. And then it started to dry up again. But by that point, George Russell, as you can see, had to retire the car because of some sort of a water pressure or water system issue. For your potential podium gone as a result. So yeah, 2 years in a row. Twice in the last 3 years, he's had to retire from the British Grand Prix. Second DNF of the year as well for George Russell as well after Australia. His last penultimate lap crash. Not he would have wanted. And in the end, Verstappen on the hard tyre, which I can't lie, when I saw that, I was like, well, what's the point? Why is he even bothered doing that? But I was wrong. I was like, are you trying to lose to Piastri at this point? Because what's the point when you have Hamilton and Norris going softs? But it worked out in the end. Verstappen was on the right tyre for him anyway. Norris, despite pitting 1 lap later than Hamilton, completely destroyed his tyres way too early on. Could have gone for mediums. Typical Norris things to just make mistakes as always. Just whether it's strategy or whatever. Like, McLaren have the best car and they just can't win races. There's a problem there. Well, it's just McLaren things. McLaren in general are a mess. So that just doesn't surprise me, to be honest, that they can't win races. And then as a result, Lewis Hamilton at the track where this is his best track, and it's the best track in F1 history. You know, his 9th win at this track. The previous record was 8, which was Hamilton and Schumacher. Hamilton obviously here. I think Schumacher was France, or something like that. Was it France? I actually don't know what track it was. But that's obviously now broken. Hamilton with his 9th win at Silverstone. His first win in 2.5 years. Saudi Arabia 2021. Which was the penultimate race of the season. I mean, that was an absolute... We all know what happened there, don't we? An absolute mess. And obviously, it was led into obviously Abu Dhabi. That's obviously in the past. Hamilton fans, if you're still crying about that, keep crying. Enjoy your swimming pool and your water, and your that dam is going to break with all the tears that are in there. But Hamilton back on the top. If you didn't want Hamilton, say as well, if you didn't want Hamilton to win this race, then you need to go get your life sorted out. Because I feel like everyone in their right mind wanted Hamilton to win this race, especially with how it played out at the end. And thank God he got driver of the day as well. I thought for a second Norris was going to get driver of the day again. The absolute fraud of the driver of the day is the most pointless thing in the world, by the way. But no, Hamilton did get the driver of the day and his first win of the season. In his final season for Mercedes, you know, he had to win a race in this final year. It had to happen. You know, I'm sure he's regretting that move to Ferrari now. But hey, it's Ferrari. You know, does Hamilton really care? Probably not. If you're Antonelli, then that's obviously good to look at. He had a good weekend as well. Somewhat did actually. Talk about that in a little bit though. But yeah, great result for Hamilton. Verstappen finishing P2, doing at one point it looked like he was going to finish 5th, get 2nd. Typical Verstappen things with Lando Norris completing the podium. Oscar Piastri ended up in the end in P4. Good recovery for him in the end. Carlos Sainz did it to the last lap, got P5. Nico Hulkenberg, get a round of applause for Nico Hulkenberg again, P6. 2 races in a row, he's finished 6th. Absolutely carrying that car team right now. Great day for him. Aston Martin back in the points. Lance Stroll 7th and Fernando Alonso in 8th. Stroll's been quicker than Alonso all weekend, by the way, so great result for Stroll. Alex Albon scores points for Williams for the second time this season after Monaco, and Yuki Tsunoda gets the final point in 10th for RB, just ahead of Logan Sargent in the Williams, who was close to the points. Also, that does mean Sargent is now no longer last in the championship. Valtteri Bottas, which is kind of mental to think Bottas is last, is 21st in the 20-man championship because of Behrman. Yeah, but that just shows how bad Bottas this year has been. Charles Leclerc finishes 14th, continues his miserable run. Sergio Perez 17th, again, his miserable season continues. And then George Russell was the only retired of the race, with Pierre Gasly not taking the start because of those issues. So that was the British Grand Prix. First half it was meh, it wasn't good. But at the end, definitely, it was the second half of the race, it was better by the end. The last 25, 20, the second half, I was just say, second half of the race was great. First half was terrible, it was just typical standard F1 races, the first half, just forget about the first half races of the races. That ending especially, that was, great end to the race, and Lewis Hamilton back on top. Then we move on to F2. F2 had a great weekend. Both F2 races were great. This was the when you have rain in play. Although the feature race didn't have rain, but the threat of weather always makes things interesting. And continuing on with the Mercedes team, there was the Mercedes Junior, potentially 2025 Mercedes driver, Andrea Antonelli, winning the sprint race in wet conditions. Absolutely blitzed the field, 8.6 seconds ahead on track. But that was with 2 safety cars. It would have been 25 plus seconds ahead at the end. He absolutely cooked the field, Antonelli. He was on pole, so does that help? Sure. But even then, he was just cooking. So Antonelli was having a great time. Steve Maloney on the podium, back on the podium for Rodin, a much needed podium for him, and Kushmani finished 3rd. Bortoletto did cross the line 3rd, but had a penalty. He did take off the track twice, so I don't know what he was expecting. With Colapinto, Crawford, Hauger, Roman Stanek, shout out to Roman Stanek, last to 8th. Scores a point for Trident. Wasn't tell me you haven't tried it, by the way. So yeah, good for him to get a point. 6 cars retired in the end. Both ARTs doing the thing you're not supposed to do, and guts crash into each other. Zach O'Sullivan taking out Victor Martins and himself in the process. Not good for them. Oliver Behrman spun out to then eventually retire some sort of mechanical problems. Isaac Hadjar spun out on his own. In the same place where Perez spun out in qualifying at Cops. Not good for him. And then Paul Aaron, championship leader Paul Aaron, and Pepe Marti collided. Aaron, I think, had a puncture. He was going a bit slowly, and Marti had to go into the back of him. Out of the race, Paul Aaron, the championship leader, that's his first DNF of the season, which means every driver now in F2 has had a DNF. And we're 15 races in out of 28. That just shows how chaotic the season's been, to be honest, at F2. Even then, Hadjar as well, second in the championship, having issues as well. So the top 2 retiring. Good day for me, not Meany, definitely not Meany. Well, it was a good race for Billy, not championship-wise. But Maloney and Bortoletto, I should say, good days for them for their championships. But also, with Antonelli, win does mean 18 drivers now have a podium, which is mental. 18 drivers have a podium in F2. Mental. Yeah, good day for Antonelli. Until the feature race, we'll talk about that in a minute. You can see Isaac Hadjar, after his disappointment in the sprint race, comes back through to win the race here in Silverstone to take the championship lead for the first. It's either the first or second, I think it might be the second time this season he's taken the championship lead. Yeah, great result for him. I think it's his 3rd or 4th win of the year. Really cooking Hadjar. Hadjar's definitely probably been the most. Hadjar's been the quickest driver. Just hasn't had the consistency as compared to Aaron. So yeah, great day for Isaac Hadjar. Zane Lodi backs his 2nd place up in the sprint with a 2nd place in the feature. Great day for him. And Jack Crawford, who crossed the line first, finished 3rd because of a penalty for an unsafe release. It was. Maloney had to stab on the brakes. So it was just, there was no fighting that. Colapinto on the ultimate strategy for 4th. Victor Martins actually scores a good result so for once, gets some decent points. Ahead of Bortoletto is 6th. Oliver Behrman, likewise, gets a decent result in a feature race. Enzo Fittipaldi went from 20th to 8th, by the way. Great day for him. With Dennis Hauger in 9th and Pepe Marti in 10th, completing the points. So you can see their championship leader, Paul Aaron, down in 12th. Got a penalty after contact, and a puncture after contact with Joshua Dirksen. It was his fault. Shouldn't have made the move on Dirksen. Dirksen had to take a void of action and beach to spun off and stuck in the gravel. And then was one of the 2 retirements, with the other being Andrea Antonelli, who retired after contact with Kushmani on the opening lap of the race. So after the highs of the sprint race, back to reality with the lows of the feature race. So not good for them. But overall, both races in F2 were entertaining, as always. Well, not always, sometimes they're not, but for the most part, they were fun. Now we move on to F3, the absolute chaotic F3 weekend. I mean, this is probably the most chaotic F3 weekend I've watched in a long time. I don't know why I said long like that, but here's the sprint race. This is the Arvid Lindblad special section of the video, pretty much. I might as well call it that, because he absolutely cooked this weekend, whether he was trying to or not, but he cooked. He obviously won the sprint race, which was a great result of him. To start in second, to win the race, third win the year at the time. So you kind of guess, you know what I'm going to say. But I said at the time of the year, and second sprint win of the year, great day for him. Noel Leon on the podium again for Van Amersfoort, and Mateus, great day for him. Mateus Sagazeta becomes the first Peruvian driver not only to score points but to get a podium as well. Kind of crazy thing when you have drivers who are 20 something in the championship. When you put them at the front, they stay at the front. So it's kind of funny how that always happens. He ended up, I said, getting his first podium. Callum Voisin, likewise, first points of the year for him in fourth. Adam Solov continues his point streak in fifth. Gabriel Lamini, consistent sixth for the sixth time this season. He lost his sixth place to Gabriel Lamini. Montoya finally back in the points after being a terrible season. And Begatone, Van Hooipen, and Foraroli completing the points. You had a lot of Luke Browning, championship leader, got taken out by Tramnitz. Bugano, as you can see there, was down 12th. 5 cars retired in the end. Charlie Wirtz after contact with Alex Dunn. Alex Dunn doing Alex Dunn things. Talk about him in a feature race. God, I mean, every race, Dunn is doing something stupid. I'm just going to say that right now. This probably was Wirtz's fault, but Dunn started it in the first place, so it's just typical Dunn things. You had Ollie Goethe and Max Esterson collide. Ollie Goethe's point streak comes to an end after, I think it was his fault because he got a penalty for it. Kasper Stuka retired with some sort of gearbox issues, and Sophia Flores got taken out on that one of the race. I think it was by James Wharton, who was stepping in, obviously, for Senshorn. Just locked up and got restrained to her, so not good for them. I think there was a couple of other drivers as well had issues, but at the end of the day, it was Lindblad's day at the evening, because obviously the race was like 10 hours delayed because of the weather. Finally, I was able to get going at 6 p.m, which was a dry race in the end. And then onto the feature race, or I should say onto the... Just throw every name into the hat and just pick one out at random, because that's what this race ended up being. It was wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry, I think. Or maybe I just added an extra 2 wet dries in there. But so in the end, Arvid Lindblad somehow managed to win the race. Pretty much the top 6 and 9th were all on dry tyres in the end. Realistically, it was the top 5 were on dries, and the other 2, 6th and 9th, pitted for dries and still were able to come through the field. So it was Arvid Lindblad who won the race from 11th on the grid. First driver ever in F3 and GP3, which has been around since 2010, to win, to sweep the weekend. So kind of mental for that, that's the first time it's happened. And for it to happen at a home Grand Prix for Lindblad makes it even more special. So a great day for him. And definitely getting himself back into title contention now. Gabriel Lamini second, takes the championship lead with that result. Just consistent mini drives, to be honest. Callum Voisin, who crossed the line first, got a penalty, finished down in third. First podium of the year, though, but he's still going to be disappointed not to get the win. But still, a podium is a podium nevertheless. Tommy Smith, fourth for Van Amersfoort, whose average finish is like 22nd or something. On dry tyres, gets fourth and gets himself 12 points, which is kind of mental to think. In his first points in his 1.5 years in F3, so about time for him. Likewise with Peter Wisnicki, first points of the year for him, started on dries and never left them. And as well, got P5 in the end, his first points ever in F3. Oliver Goethe, who pitted on the safety car restart, was like 30 seconds beyond the next car and came through for 6th. Those 8 points could be crucial come the end of the year. Leonardo Foraroli and Luke Browning managed to make the wet tyres work to get 7th and 8th. Could be crucial points for them in their championship fights. Nikita Bedran, who pitted with like 5 laps to go, miles behind, and still came back for 9th and gets a couple of points. Just shows that you should just pitting for dry tyres was like all. He was able to get a couple of points for AIX, whilst Noel Leon completed the points for Van Amersfoort. You can see Christian Mansell 13th for ALT. Dino Vaganovic, another bad weekend for him. He had, I think, 6 retirements this race. Charlie Wirtz retired with some sorts of mechanical problems. You had Alex Dunn and Sebastian Montoya and Joshua Dufek all retiring after taking all getting collected. It was Dufek and Stuka collided, and Dufek back across the track collecting Montoya and Dunn. Nothing Dunn could do in that incident, but my God, the other incident, there was still another couple of cars who retired, I believe. The next is the Dunn incident. Sophia Flores retired after contact with Boganovic, which was caused by Alex Dunn absolutely going for the absolute maniac move of all maniacs, just driving off the track and then launching it across the grass, doing a wheelie. I don't know why he wants to do a wheelie. Across the track, dangerous as always, typical Dunn, into Flores, who went into Boganovic, Flores having to retire. She was on the dry tyres, so she would have scored points. Instead, you have absolute madman Alex Dunn, as always, for the 5th or 6th race in a row. Do something dangerous. Get this guy out of the sport. People say Zolov is dangerous. This guy, man, Jesus, I've never seen such a dangerous driver in my life. Get him gone. And Kean Shields retired in high tech after spinning out on the opening lap of the race. So not good for him at his own race. The British race Scottish. So not good for the Scotsman. So that was the British Grand Prix weekend. Weather playing a factor in pretty much every single race. I don't think it went more than 10 laps without rain combined. So Typical of British weather, British F2 and F3 absolutely cooked. The first half of F1 did not cook at all. The second half did, and as a result, Lewis Hamilton with the win. We had the British Anthem 3 times this weekend out of a possible 5 for Hamilton and Limblad times 2. Great day for Mercedes, pole in F1, Mercedes Junior winning in F2, and then obviously Lewis Hamilton winning the British Grand Prix. That's really the main thing that everyone's going to be talking about from this race, is Lewis Hamilton ending his winless streak after 2.5 years since Jeddah in 2021. So we now have a week off, Hungary next, and then Belgium, and then it's the summer break. So if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all that. Check out these videos here if you want to see anything else on the channel, and subscribe right there. And I'll see you for the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2 weeks. Until then, bye guys.